The winds of war are shifting across eastern Ukraine, carrying with them the echoes of both devastation and defiance. After months of brutal static fighting, Ukrainian forces have seized the initiative with a series of bold counteroffensives, pushing forward where once there was only stalemate. No longer just holding the line, they're storming entrenched Russian positions, shattering the narrative of a deadlocked front, and proving their resilience on the battlefield. This surge is a coordinated effort, meticulous planning, Western-supplied weapons, and the unbreakable spirit of Ukrainian soldiers all coming together in a powerful display of unity and resolve. Reports from the front lines show fast-paced assaults, catching Russian units off guard. Breaking through lines the Kremlin spent months fortifying and forcing a hasty retreat. Each liberated village is a beacon of hope for Ukrainians and a blow to Russian morale, as families reunite and communities begin to rebuild from the ashes of occupation. The loss of territory undermines the Kremlin's narrative and exposes cracks in Russian command and troop morale, with abandoned equipment and empty checkpoints marking their retreat. As of October 28, 2025, the situation is fluid and fiercely contested, but the initiative is with Ukraine, and the momentum appears to be building with every passing day. President Zelensky's vow not to retreat is now backed by real gains on the ground, inspiring confidence among his people and Ukraine's allies abroad. The coming days will test whether this counteroffensive marks a true turning point in Ukraine's fight for freedom, or if even greater challenges still lie ahead. The world is watching as the map of control changes, one village, one town at a time, and the fate of a nation hangs in the balance. The epicenter of Ukraine's renewed push is Pokrovsk in Donetsk, a critical theater with breathtaking developments. This city, once considered a stronghold in the region, has now become the focal point of intense military operations and strategic maneuvers. The landscape here is rapidly changing, reflecting the high stakes and determination on both sides. Ukrainian forces have stormed Russian positions, liberating Rodinsky and pushing the front line forward. Their swift and coordinated attacks have caught Russian troops off guard, allowing Ukraine to reclaim vital ground and boost morale among its defenders. North in Dobropilya, Kucherev Yar is back under Ukrainian control. In Zaporizhia, Yehorivka has been cleared of Russian troops. These victories are not just symbolic, they are crucial for securing supply routes and establishing stronger defensive lines for future operations. Each gain disrupts Russian plans and opens new tactical options for Ukraine. The capture of equipment and territory weakens Russian resolve and provides Ukraine with valuable resources and intelligence for the battles ahead. Pokrovsk is a vital logistics hub, long targeted by Russia, but now Ukraine is counterattacking from it, securing supply lines and threatening Russian positions. Control of this hub allows Ukraine to move troops and supplies efficiently, giving them a significant advantage in sustaining their momentum. This has forced Russia onto the defensive in a sector where they once held the upper hand. Russian forces are now scrambling to reinforce their positions, building new fortifications, and attempting to slow Ukraine's advance. Near Kupiansk, Ukrainian advances continue, chipping away at Russian gains in Kharkiv. The fighting here is fierce, with both sides committing significant resources, but Ukraine's persistence is gradually shifting the balance. While some Russian advances persist, fierce Ukrainian counterattacks have turned these areas into contested zones. The front lines are constantly shifting, and every village or position gained is hard-fought and significant for both armies. The overall trend, Ukraine is dictating the pace, forcing Russia to react. Ukrainian commanders are seizing the initiative, planning the next moves while Russian forces are increasingly on the back foot. The front line is fluid, but momentum is shifting in Ukraine's favor. As each day passes, Ukraine's strategic gains are reshaping the battlefield, offering hope for further advances and a potential turning point in the conflict. In a bold move, Ukraine struck the Belgorod Reservoir Dam, just inside Russian territory. This calculated operation caused a controlled flood, inundating Russian military positions and degrading key units. The strike neutralized enemy forces without a major ground assault, crippling Russian logistics and halting planned offensives near Kharkiv. With supply lines severed, Russia is scrambling to reroute, buying Ukraine precious time. This is textbook asymmetric warfare, targeting logistics for outsized impact. Ukraine's strategy, innovation and calculated risk, exploiting Russian vulnerabilities. The Belgorod Dam attack is a masterclass in turning geography into a weapon. its effects will ripple across the northeastern front for weeks. In war, truth is the first casualty, especially with Russia's propaganda machine in overdrive. The Kremlin claimed to seize Yahorivka, but Ukrainian forces quickly proved otherwise, confirmed by independent observers. Russia also boasted of encircling thousands of Ukrainian troops in Pokrovsk and Mirnohrad, a claim debunked by both Ukrainian officials and even Russian military bloggers. On the ground, Russian forces have infiltrated Pokrovsk's outskirts with small fire teams, not large columns. Around 200 Russian soldiers, disguised as civilians, are hiding in the city, an advance force, not a conquering army. This highlights Russia's shift to desperate, unconventional tactics. Independent analysis and geolocated footage are crucial to cutting through the noise. The reality, Russia's narrative of sweeping success is crumbling under verifiable evidence. Urban warfare is redefining the front line, especially in cities like Pokrovsk. Russian tactics have shifted from armored assaults to infiltration, small teams hiding in basements disguised as civilians, aiming to sow chaos and direct strikes. These infiltrators are vulnerable, relying on reinforcements that may never arrive as Ukraine regains the initiative. Ukrainian forces are systematically hunting down these units, turning the city into a deadly game of cat and mouse. With intimate knowledge of the terrain, Ukrainian soldiers excel at close-quarters combat, clearing block by block. Key districts and the city center remain under Ukrainian control. The front lines are now porous and fragmented, especially in urban areas. Both sides are adapting, but Ukraine's targeted clearing operations are blunting Russia's infiltration gambit. Control of urban centers is crucial, not just for strategy, but for the civilians caught in the crossfire. Amidst the fighting, diplomacy stirs. A new ceasefire proposal from US President Trump has sparked fresh debate. President Zelensky responded swiftly, promising Ukraine and its allies will draft their own comprehensive plan within 10 days. Zelensky is clear. Peace talks can happen anywhere but Russia or Belarus, and Ukraine will not withdraw from its own territory. This rejects any notion of ceding land for peace, a core principle since the invasion began. Russia immediately dismissed the Trump proposal, insisting on maximalist territorial claims based on sham referendums. The gulf between the sides remains vast. Russia demands surrender, not compromise. While the world seeks a path to peace, the fundamental conflict is unresolved. Ukraine fights for survival, Russia clings to expansionist goals. Until Moscow's position changes, talk of ceasefire remains just that, talk. The drone war has turned Ukraine's skies into a second front, bringing terror and uncertainty to civilians who once felt safe in their own neighborhoods. Each night, the distant hum of engines and sudden flashes in the sky signal a new wave of danger, forcing families to seek shelter at a moment's notice. A recent UN report accuses Russia of crimes against humanity, using drones to deliberately target and chase civilians, forcing mass displacement and creating a climate of fear. Entire communities have been uprooted, with families fleeing their homes in search of safety, often leaving everything behind. In just the past few days, Russia has launched over 100 drones, including 70 Iranian-designed Shaheds, at both energy infrastructure and residential areas. These attacks not only destroy homes but also threaten critical services, leaving thousands without power or heat. Ukrainian air defenses have managed to intercept many drones, but some, carrying anti-tank mines and explosives, still break through, striking homes, roads, and public spaces, causing further chaos and destruction. Ukraine's own drone campaign targets military sites deep inside Russia, including Moscow. However, the scale and intent of these operations differ significantly, with Ukraine focusing on military objectives rather than civilian populations. Russia's strikes increasingly target civilians and civilian infrastructure, while Ukraine's efforts remain concentrated on military and strategic infrastructure. The human cost is staggering. Recent attacks have killed and injured civilians in Zaporizhia, Donetsk, and Sumy, leaving families shattered and communities in mourning. Every intercepted drone averts another tragedy, but each one that gets through devastates families, destroys homes, and deepens the trauma of war for survivors. The UN's war crimes accusation underscores the grim reality. For many Ukrainians, there is no truly safe place. Even playgrounds and shelters are not immune from the violence. The psychological burden of constant aerial threat, compounds daily wartime struggles, leaving a lasting impact on the mental health and resilience of Ukraine's people. As Ukraine's counteroffensive intensifies, nuclear rhetoric escalates between superpowers. Russia, facing setbacks, tested its Burevestnik nuclear-powered cruise missile and issued fresh threats, an attempt to coerce the West into backing down. US President Trump responded bluntly, warning Putin of American nuclear submarines off Russian shores. This exchange highlights the perilous stakes. One miscalculation could have catastrophic consequences. Putin's move to end a plutonium disposal agreement with the US adds to the tension. Ukraine's battlefield successes challenge Russia's image as a military power, increasing pressure on the Kremlin. The world watches, hoping Ukraine's gains don't provoke desperate escalation from Moscow. Ukraine's fight is about defending sovereign borders and the international order. Their recent victories offer hope, but rising nuclear threats remind us of global fragility. The future of Ukraine and global stability hangs in the balance.